everybody. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Guardian X1 by CHENYU. This one's in stainless steel, and we're going to do the usual. Take it apart, compare it, weigh it, measure it, try to have a little fun. So please stick around. Well, it's another slider, just like the Guardian version 1, except it is a different shape and has multiple track options. You'll see here on the inside there's standard tracks on the outside, dense tracks on the inside. You could run all four at the same time. You could run one at each time. I do two on the outside currently. When it came in the mail, it was set up with the dense, and there's also a similar two tracks. We'll see it when we take it apart here in a minute. But there's two tracks inside here. One's dense and one is standard. And once again, you can set it up however you like it. Right now, everything is set up with a standard, so more of a little bit of a spacing between the clicks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in either direction. You can rotate it. I tend to try to rotate it the way that I used to use my original CHENYU Guardian, and I'm just not quite practiced with this one yet. And we'll compare it with a few others. I have 3 others that perform like this does. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. When I show you the other 3, and we have all 4 of these beside each other, you realize that they're all exactly, well, darn near the same price, right around 70 bucks. All stainless steel, at least the versions that I have, and then you'll get a good idea what the difference between them are. We won't go into a detailed comparison of the guts of each one of them and everything. I think I'll save that for a separate video, but yeah, let's move on from there. Alright, well, let's get some comparisons out of the way here. The usual suspects. Metal Toys DZ Top B. Let me get too detailed here. The Top B is coming apart on me. It got loose on the inside. I need to tighten that up. And I'm not going to bother extending these. We're just going to do a quick comparison for size. We have the Mackie CP3. And then I'll just bring out these other 3 that I was referencing earlier. This is the original CHENYU Guardian. It has a single track of standard spacing. There later came out a dense version of this. This is the original. I think it's before any of these came out. This came out. Nothing quite like that. I got in the habit of using it like this. However, you could always spin it from the top. Very nice piece. Very little wobble there. Good, what's the word? It doesn't have any looseness to it. And neither does this. This has a very good, no matter what position it's in, very good retention when it's locked into one of those detents. One thing that does bug me about this is that they put lanyard holes on both sides. If you use this upside down, I would consider this upside down, it really becomes funky. In fact, this is about all you can do with it. And I don't think that's what I want to do. So, unfortunately, with my OCD, which is minor, I guess, every time I put it away like that, I can't put it away like that. I gotta make sure that these are all lined up on the bottom. Anyhow, this thing came along, the Iron Eating Beast. It has 2 tracks. This is the cheapest made one of all, laser etched. Magnets in here. I talked about it in great detail in my review video. Each one of these has its own review video. This is this one's. This one, sloppy. Keep in mind these are all the same price. And then I think the fingerprint magnet, the 9 hands, and it doesn't have a name, just 9 hands. I think this one, for me, does what I want it to do the best. See how smooth that is? Again, you can rotate these things from the top. It's just I don't think that's really what the original intent was. But you can. One last time with all these here. Now this one being a little bit bigger and rounded, rounding doesn't do very good for spinning it in this manner, because it's nice to have a corner to grab a hold of. And there is a bit of a corner on this one and a bit of a corner on this one, but they've wiped out the corner on this one. So it's it makes it just a little bit harder to get it all the way around. And of course there's not much mass to this. It doesn't want to spin out the whole way on its own like this does. I can sort of flick my wrist and get that one to go the whole way around. But yeah, there you go. And if you have any of these, I think that's good enough of a size comparison, don't you? Yep, let's move on from there. All right, let's get these things out of the way, and we will talk about what came in the box. CHENYU, CY Studio, CHENYU. Here we have a back view of the box. I don't like to do unboxings. I just like to show you what came. A little business card there. Got the empty shrink wrap that it came in. In here we have a few stickers. Nothing too fancy. And then lots of extra parts, which is always a plus. I give bonus points to anybody, and even threw in a tool, which appears to be, does it say on there? I bet it's a T5. It's pretty small. Let's see what they gave us. Ooh, there's right in here in the major bag. There's three screws, and then we have 0.25 wire diameter springs, POM balls. See, most people say nylon or Teflon, and I used to say the same thing, but I think 9 times out of 10 when we see these in plastic, it's POM and certainly not PP. Don't buy polypropylene, too soft. Here we have some slightly shorter springs, and here we have, interesting, longer springs. It's hard to read depending on how they have it labeled. And then we have a couple glass balls and another steel ball. So lots of parts, lots and lots of parts. That's good to see. All right, let's do weights and measurements, and then we will move on to the disassembly. There are no magnets in this, and we're at 92 grams, roughly speaking. Let's compare that to the original CHENYU. 92 compared to 98, a little bit lighter. This one has a nice hollow cavity sound to it that the original CHENYU just doesn't have. It's a little bit easier to rotate like this for me right now. Okay, measurements. Okay. Overall height is about 53. Width, 29, 28. Thickness, a little over 14. When it's fully extended, about 71. So there you got weights and measurements. Okay, let's take this puppy apart. I measured the size of the bit. It's a T5. And we are just going to be loosening these 4 screws on the sides. And it will come right apart. Oops. There we go. Now, I'll just lay it on this side and gently lift off the top. We have a ball that's stuck here. The other ball's here. So here's a close look at the detents. And these 2 side pieces come off. Here would be a closer look at the bottom portion. You put the springs on the outer tracks or the inner tracks, or just one or the other, or all 4, whatever you like. For our purposes, I'm going to leave them in where they are, and we'll just take these out of the way so we don't lose them. Now, this side, we're just going to apply a little bit of pressure. You don't need to worry about it flying apart on you, but it will come apart. There's one little screw. 2 little screws, and then if you do that, you can get this little ring to come off. Now, if I lift this off, actually if I turn it over and then lift it off, we will see the beautiful rosette of detents. The inside is standard spacing and the outside is dense. And here on the rotating portion, we have 3 glass balls and 3 springs and lots of options. Of course, if you want to run the inside track, which is what we're running right now, you have these placed where they are. If you want to run the outside track, you put them anywhere out here on any of these. You could add more than you'd like to, more than you need to, I suppose. Be a matter of taste. So I can just put this back down, put this on top of it. Did that go? Nope. No way that went. No way that went. Nope, we lost balls. And the balls went right into the holes. So I have taken this apart. There, we got everything out. Let's just start from scratch. Actually, we're going to be reassembling it. Another good feature is that all these screws are the same size, it appears, so there's no chance of accidentally mixing anything up. Alrighty, well, just working backwards, I'm going to, whoa, I got lucky there. Going to try to place these springs back on the inner. I'm going to use these 3 inner holes here. And I will place my, do I want to do that? Yes, I do. Place my beads, glass beads, back on top of those 3 springs. This time I'm going to try to hold it in my hand and guide it in a little bit, because it needs to mount on that center pivot point, as well as this exterior diameter has to slide down in there. I think I can do that a little bit better with a sense of touch. Yeah. So everything's working good. Just hold it down. Replace this little ring on top. And that pops down in there flush, but you do have to keep a little pressure down on everything. We'll put a couple screws back in place. Okay, that side's ready to go. Put the springs back in. Of course, I want the springs to be standard again. Line up with the outside. That is a nice feature to be able to change that. The other three that I was showing you do not have that ability. So let's see. Think about this for a second. So I can see some countersinks here. So these are countersunks so that the heads of the screws sit flush down in there. And that means that this side has to face down. So I'll get rid of that screw. Whoops. Okay, that's facing downward. I'm just going to place that. You see it's loose. It's just floating in here loosely. I'm just going to generally place it as close as I can to the middle. Same thing on the other side. You want to have the countersinks facing downward. Get everything lined up as pretty as you can. Now I have steel balls to put in here. And now all I have to do is place this back on top. And we'll just do that by gently, whoops. I'll just gently wiggle it into place. There we go. Squeeze everything together, then gently slide it apart until you have access to these two screw holes. And put your screws back in and start screwing. Yeah, I don't like the lanyard, the multiple lanyard holes on this one. And I don't think you would not be able to get even gutted 550 paracord through those holes. They're so small. They only look to be about 0.10 diameter. That's in inches. What would that be? Looks like 3 millimeters maybe. Now everything should stay together on its own. So pretty easy to take apart, put together, easy to change it around, fun to play with. If you like mechanicals, you should like to tune things. This one comes with lots of extra parts. You can use those on all your other toys as well. So here we are back. Back where we started. So I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say, anything else to share. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye.